On this fine day, I will be reviewing a Watchtower classic propaganda film from their Young People Ask series. This one will be using the biblical story of Dinah, daughter of Jacob, who was raped by a Canaanite prince. We get a little introduction in which some of the cast from the movie is interviewed before the film begins, and we get such gems as...
I'm sure it would have been devastating, because he forced her to have sex. She got herself into this situation, and that she'd hurt not only her family, her father, her parents, but Jehovah too.
According to Jehovah's Witness doctrine, Dinah being raped was actually her fault. Somehow, the rapist is excused, at least partially, and bears no real responsibility because she allowed it to happen. Classic victim blaming when it comes to rape. Think about the implications of this sort of reasoning. The way Jehovah's Witnesses view the crime of rape is, well, she was asking for it, so what can I say? Now, I ask you fine people, would that sort of excuse really work in a court of law? Is it reasonable that a rapist can at the very least be partially excused for his hideous crime by saying, well, this woman trusted me enough to be alone with me, can you blame me for raping her? No, that wouldn't fly. Let's see how Watchtower applies this reasoning to a modern-day setting. She talks for a very long time, so here's some footage of me killing zombies and rescuing noobs online to help you stay awake.
Dear Chrissy, sorry it's taken me so long to answer your letters. It was pretty crazy around here for a while. Anyway, I want you to know that I'm okay. But Chrissy, something you said in your last letter worried me. You said that you thought the friends at the Kingdom Hall were boring, and that the kids at school were a lot more fun. If you knew what I've been through recently...
Oh, honey, watch out for your back.
Don't worry, I'll be okay.
Mom and Dad were so busy with our new home and their new jobs. I didn't want to burden them with how miserable I felt. I started writing poetry again. It seemed to take my mind off my loneliness. At the new congregation, Mom and Dad were eager to make new friends.
This is my wife, Julie. Hi, I'm Ken.
Hey, you must be Tara.
Hi.
Hi, I just met your parents. They are so nice.
Thanks.
Well, anyway, my name is Stacy. You mind if I sit out?
There was this pioneer sister, Stacy Evans. She tried really hard to be nice.
Stacy Evans, Watchtower woman, regular pioneer, the organization's pit bull, Jehovah's Witness detective. She's never met a case she can't crack for Jehovah.
So, I hear you're from Lucinda Falls?
Lucinda Falls.
Oh, Lucinda Falls, sorry. Pretty small town, huh?
It's not that small.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, what the hell? I also hate it when people indirectly make fun of where you're from simply because it's a small town or whatever. What do you call that? Is there a word for that? What is it? Geographism? Is Stacy Evans a geographist? I'm coining that word if it hasn't been claimed yet. Nice.
It was nice meeting you.
I just wasn't ready to make any new friends.
Look at that badass riding a skateboard through the halls in school, just not giving a fuck. This is a man who does not fear death.
Chrissy, I had never, ever felt so alone. And school was the final brushstroke on this portrait of misery.
Mr. Stevenson! Fuck you, off the skateboard!
I felt so out of place. It was like I didn't even exist. A few weeks later, though, things seemed to change for the better. It was in Mr. Beckwith's English class.
Wait a minute. Is this going to turn into the plot of Mean Girls? Because it's already starting to look that way. Okay, obviously this one here is Regina George, this one is Gretchen Wieners, and this one is the dumb blonde one, whatever her name was. Why do I even know this much about Mean Girls? My god. I didn't even have to look any of this stuff up. That just came to me. I like Mean Girls, but holy shit, I didn't realize I liked it that much.
All right, listen up. Don't look happy. Listen up, people.
Thank you. This past weekend, while you were out partying, this overworked and underpaid English teacher spent his weekend reading your poem.
I read everyone's shitty poetry instead of blazing with the homies this weekend, and for what?
Take this masterpiece, for example. I think I shall never see a guy as cool as...
Very much like the dumb blonde girl in Mean Girls, she is totally oblivious to the fact that she's being mocked.
And guess who authored this work of art?
What kind of a horrible teacher is this? Here, let me read you back your shitty poetry in front of the whole class in the most sarcastic tone I can muster.
My skateboard makes a sound when it hits the ground. That can't be by people.
No, Mr. B, you gotta read it with a little rhythm, a little style, some attitude.
Sick, Kyle, sick.
Or I could just sit.
I just don't get paid enough to put up with this shit.
Some of you did write verses that rightly can be called lyrical poetry. First up, Miss Tara Matson.
Who? How convenient that it was established earlier how she's so into poetry. Tara McKinney? Whatever, get up here and read your piece. I want to show your classmates how much superior your poetry is to theirs. I want to humiliate them, Tara. That's why I chose you. You can't let me down. Now show them how it's done.
Great. As if being the new kid in class wasn't bad enough. Now I had to be put on public exhibition.
Who?
Matt. I don't know. I have her in my 7th period, though.
Does she always look like farm girl?
I was sick. I remember the day I caught loneliness.
Look, a girl we've never noticed.
Okay, come on.
I remember the day I caught loneliness. It was the day we moved away. It lay like a stone in my lap, and no matter how I tried, prying, tearing, it simply would not go away. I never knew emptiness until I moved away. I remained a pebble.
There's something so holy about her. Never has a woman spoken like this before.
This world's so vast and uncaring. Cast aside, passed by, left astray. I took steps to destroy it before it sapped me, crushed me, left me victim. I pulled harder, ripping that stone right from my heart, and threw it all back into the void from where it came.
Yes, I had thrown loneliness away.
Thank you, Miss Madsen.
That's how it's done, you apes. Notice how that made all of your poetry seem like complete and utter garbage. Miss Matthews just completely...
For weeks I had been invisible to these kids. Suddenly they noticed me.
Hell yeah, Mr. Finkelstein just used you to lay the intellectual smackdown on your intellectually inferior classmates. Of course they're gonna notice you.
Don't forget, people!
So, you're a math genius too.
She's a math genius as well. This is Mean Girls. What the hell?
You're taking 12th grade calculus?
Yeah, I like math.
Oh, hi, Lori.
So, I figured you're the one to help me with the class assignment.
I want you to be my friend for completely selfish reasons and because I'm bored and need a proper protege.
You mean the dramatic dialogue?
Yeah, theme, suffering loss. Anyway.
I actually felt sorry for her.
Well, yeah, when you're superior to everybody else, of course you're gonna feel sorry for them from time to time.
Is that a yes?
I guess.
Yes. Okay, I'll pick you up tomorrow and you can go to my place.
Your place? Why can't we just do it here?
This place is gross. Besides, we'll have a lot more privacy. Okay, ciao.
Going to her house wasn't exactly what I had in mind. But at the time, I couldn't think of any way to get out of it.
Yeah, the very next scene in Mean Girls is also going over to Regina George's house. This movie is pretty much Jehovah's Witness Mean Girls. I mean, look at this. They are even driving the same type of car and pulling into the same type of house.
Wow, your house is really nice.
I know, right?
We do a dramatic dialogue about the loss of friendship.
You mean about friends moving away?
No, a little too close to home.
Then how about because they've had a fight?
A fight? About what?
Hello, about guys. What else do girls fight about?
Girls only fight over guys. Got it.
Finally, the ideas were flowing.
Tell me you've never had a
We got together again the next day.
So there's 2 women, and we can make them really old, like 30.
The funnier thing is that these girls are well over 30 right now. Not so funny in retrospect, I guess. Pay attention to this song playing in the background. You may already recognize it, but I'll get back to this later.
As I got to know Lori, my opinion of her began to change. I never would have guessed that we had so much in common.
Anyways, Tara and this whirly girl realize they have so much in common, and they really hit it off. Tara has finally found a friend. Unfortunately, this being a Jehovah's Witness propaganda film, we are quickly going to see why this is a bad thing.
So, Proverbs 13:20 says, "He that is walking with wise persons will become wise, but he that is having dealings with the stupid ones will fare badly."
Ooh, foreshadowing.
The Bible says stupid ones. It's not talking about people who are unintelligent, but about people who do not follow godly standards.
Okay, first of all, most Bible translations don't use the phrase stupid ones. They use the word fools. Second of all, if the Bible writers didn't mean stupid or foolish, they wouldn't have used that word. This is an example of Watchtower twisting the definition of words in order to bend scripture to support their doctrine.
All I could think about was getting together again with Lori.
You can't have him, Alexandra. Brett is mine.
Yours? Well, you don't own Brett, Kimberly.
Yeah. What about me, Alexandra?
That's the problem, Kimberly. It's always been about you.
Doesn't our friendship mean anything at all to you?
Cheap acting within cheap acting. Nice.
Our friendship? Write it off as a loss, honey. Your loss, my gain.
Wow. That's actually a very accurate description of what it's like leaving the organization and all of that conditional love behind you. It's their loss and your gain.
Okay, so we weren't ready for Broadway. But the class loved it. Suddenly, Lori's friends didn't mind being seen with me.
That was so great.
You guys should try out for the school play. Okay, no, that was just
Okay,
fun.
so these aren't actually mean girls. I guess by Watchtower standards they are, but if it helps, just picture an alternative reality where Jehovah's Witnesses win the war against the machines and humanity, and they've established a totalitarian, theocratic New World Order as envisioned in their propaganda literature. This would be the version of Mean Girls we would have all gotten.
Hey. But you have definitely earned a seat at this table, Tara.
Yeah, we had an opening for a literary genius.
Okay, you should just know that we don't do this a lot, so this is like a really huge deal. We want to invite you to have lunch with us every day for the rest of the week.
Erin, please, I'm no genius.
Ooh, and so modest.
Stealth prayer.
Girl, if I had your talent, I'd cash in on it.
What do you mean?
Hello, scholarships, a career, fame,
money.
These sound like good friends. They're encouraging her to further her education. They compliment her. You can tell they really admire her, despite the fact that, Tara's really socially awkward.
No, writing's just a hobby for me.
So what do you plan to do, flip burgers?
Well, I need to do something to support myself, but I really want to help people.
What, you mean like a social worker or something?
No, more like volunteer work.
Volunteer work?
Yeah, I mean, we teach people.
She sounds like she's reading a Watchtower article, the way she sounds. The propaganda in these films goes to great lengths to stress how you should avoid any sort of career and instead volunteer, as Tara said here, the vast majority of your time to the organization. We see it time and again in every single one of their propaganda films. Give us more of your time.
Teach what? Hello, teachers don't make any money.
No, let me explain. You see, I'm one of...
Hold that thought.
Alright, the plot demands that Tara keep her JW identity a secret for a while longer, I guess.
Yeah? Hey, Joanna. Oh, cool. Of course I'll be there. All right, ciao. Summer clearance girls, today only. Tara, you can't miss it.
I don't think I can.
I owe you big time.
Hey, maybe we can get her out of her Miss Lucinda Falls outfit.
Are they going to give her a makeover like they did with Katie or Caddy? What was her name?
Lucinda Falls.
Whatever.
And besides, what's wrong with my outfit?
I love her. She's like a Martian.
Now I was in Lori's circle of friends, but I had to make a few changes to fit in.
She did not have to make any of these changes. If this girl wasn't such a pushover, she would refuse. Secretly, though, she wants to fit in, and she believes that the best way to do that is to pretty much become a yes man, or in this case, a yes woman.
Great. Hey. Wait till Mark sees you. Mark.
Hello, Mark, in your English class, Mark. He's been checking you out ever since your little poetry reading.
I don't want to be together with anyone.
We could set you up.
Goddamn Canaanites, always trying to hook friends up. Evil bastards. How can you fools not see this?
Anyway, you are interested, aren't you, Tara?
Well, no. I mean, I don't know.
Don't worry, Tara. We'll arrange everything.
Everything?
Everything.
The girls also figured I needed a little help with my social life.
And hey, what are you doing Saturday? We could show her around.
Yeah.
Play tour guides, why not?
Sounds like fun.
Let me in.
So what do you say?
I don't know. I have to be up early on Sunday.
We'll start early, we'll get back early.
There you go.
Yeah.
Come on, Tara.
Okay.
That Saturday morning, I went out in field service with Stacey Evans, but my mind was not on preaching.
Back to Stacey Evans, Watchtower detective.
No, that's okay. You could do it.
I told Stacey that I was hungry and wanted to stop service early. She insisted on buying me lunch.
Hey, listen. I'm having some friends over tonight. I want you to come. I actually made a cheesecake that I'm proud of. I'd love to, but I promised to go into the city with some friends. Oh, from our hall?
Nothing gets past Detective Stacey Evans when she's on the case. Honestly, guys, I really cringe when watching this scene, but let's continue.
No, from school. But they're just gonna show me around the city. They're real nice.
Look, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but how well do you really know these kids?
What do you mean?
I mean, do they have any interest in the Bible?
I don't know, it hasn't come up. But they're not into drugs or anything like that.
Tara might be assuming a little too much here.
In fact, they're even nicer than some of the kids at the Kingdom Hall.
Well, even if that were true, don't you think you have to be careful with people who may not even believe in the Bible? Don't forget what happened to Dinah.
What? She basically just told her that she shouldn't hang out with non-Jehovah's Witnesses because she's going to get raped. Holy shit, straight to Dinah, huh?
Dinah?
Yeah, you remember Jacob's daughter?
You know, the one that was raped?
These kids are not Canaanites. They're very nice.
Maybe, but what are their beliefs? What are their morals?
In other words, are these kids okay with rape? Because only Jehovah's Witnesses know that rape is bad, and they don't rape.
Do you accept that the Jehovah's Witness organization has a problem with child abuse amongst its members?
I accept that child abuse is a problem right throughout the community, and it's something that we've had to deal with as well.
So you're saying that I shouldn't be friendly with anyone in school who isn't a witness?
Badly worded question. She basically set up the straw man argument for Detective Evans to knock out of the park here.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I mean, the Bible tells us to love our neighbors. But doesn't it also warn us that it's dangerous to get too close to certain people? People that don't follow God's standards?
Yes, and somehow Watchtower is the only religion that is following God's standards. Even if these friends of hers were believers in the Bible, Christians, they would still be dangerous people. Canaanites, if you will. The whole concept of rejecting friendship from those not of your specific religion is a very, very common sign that you're probably in a high control group.
Dinah learned that the hard way.
She got raped. You want to get raped? Go out with these friends of yours, see what happens.
But don't we have to teach people about the Bible? How can I do that if I don't spend any time with them?
Oh, so you have had a chance to witness to them?
Well, no. But that's not the point. Lori and her friends are not bad.
This girl is really trying to find a way to get this lady off her back.
But Do they encourage you to do good things?
Girl, if I had your talent, I'd cash in on it. What do you mean?
Hello, scholarships, a career, fame,
Money,
guys,
and money.
and guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. You meant to ask, do they encourage me to dedicate my entire life to the Watchtower Society? No, Stacy, they don't.
Like personal study, meetings, field service.
There it is. No, Stacy, my non-Jehovah's Witness friends from school don't encourage me to study for my meetings, go to my meetings, or to go knock on people's doors and recruit for our organization. They don't do that. They're normal human beings. Why the hell would you ask that? It's so creepy. Like, what world is she living in to even ask such a stupid question?
No. Look, Stacy, I've already given my word. And Jesus did say I have to let my yes mean yes, right?
Bitch, please. You think you're gonna out-scripture regular pioneer detective Stacey Evans? Think again.
Tara, do you really think Jesus meant saying yes to things that can hurt you?
Actually, yes. I mean, Jesus did agree, he said yes to dying for mankind's sin. So, yeah, I think Jesus would support the idea that you should keep your word, no matter what.
Stacy, I'll be careful. I'm not gonna do anything stupid. Trust me.
I find the character of Stacey Evans a bit interesting because her sole purpose in this propaganda piece seems to be that of the Watchtower voice. She's there to say it how Watchtower wants it done. That's pretty much it.
Here's your burger, honey.
My God, Detective Evans was right. Look at her, forgetting to pray like a goddamn Canaanite. Disgusting.
Stacy's words affected me far more than she realized.
And let's go. Tara's gonna turn into a pumpkin. Just squeeze.
I lied to my parents and told them I had plans with some friends from the congregation.
Her parents would have completely destroyed her for even daring to ask, so she opts to lie. Unfortunately, many young witnesses who just want to be normal resort to such lies. How old is this movie? Jesus, I thought this was like 2002, 2003. Wow, this is before 2001. Okay. You know what? That kind of makes sense. I was getting kind of a 90s vibe from this movie. Wait a minute. So then that means that Mean Girls may in fact have copied this movie. Wow. Okay, I guess, unless Tina Fey was working at Bethel during that time, I don't think it's very likely, but alright, the comparisons still stand, though. I guess that's just a testament to how cliche a lot of these films are.
How tall is it? It's like 300-400 stories. Not like 200. Yeah. Does it matter? It's just tall, okay?
They playing that rap music. Not Jehovah's Paradise, but Gangsta's Paradise. Such a blatant ripoff. You can tell that the person in charge of selecting the music for this propaganda piece was definitely a Coolio fan.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that...
But soon, Mark and I were talking. I really enjoyed the attention.
This girl does not sound like she even has the will to live anymore. Just listen to her. No power behind her voice. Jeez.
So much to do.
Oh, I love his stuff.
But he was stoned when he wrote those poems. You write better when you're high?
Okay, so that didn't take long. It seems that the love interest is actually a stoner punk. He partakes of the devil's lettuce. Let this be a lesson to you people out there. Marijuana users are notorious rapists and first-class writers.
No, I'm not into drugs. Are you?
You know that used to be the tallest building in New York?
He was like, oh damn, narc! It was a clumsy dodge on his part, but she won't notice. Otherwise, this movie would end right here.
Children! Hey, Kyle, you want us to lift you up so you can see?
Mark made me feel special. And the more I got to know him, the more I liked him.
59th Street Bridge, Roosevelt Park.
I wasn't going to let anything spoil this day.
Well, I knew you'd like it.
Guilt! After seeing J-Dubs preaching on the street.
let's see what's down the street. They're pretty good.
Not bad.
Where's Kyle?
Where's Kyle while the most obvious drug deal goes down like 20 feet behind him? No subtlety.
Mark, Lori, everybody, thanks. I really had a great time. Why are we going home so early?
Erin's right. This place doesn't even get going until after dark.
No, I better get home.
The most horrible thing about being a Jehovah's Witness in high school was that you always had a watch up your ass, combined with the constant guilt about every little thing that you enjoyed, which was non-Jehovah's Witness related.
People, have no fear. Thanks to me, your evening will not be a total waste.
Oh, so you're leaving? Now you know I don't touch that stuff. Stunts your growth.
Not nearly as much as watching these propaganda films, I can guarantee you that much.
Kyle, put it away before we get busted.
Oh, I hope that's the good stuff.
The best.
Hey, am I?
She's so disappointed that Detective Stacey Evans was right about these non-Jehovah's Witnesses. They sleep around and only smoke the good stuff.
Parents are gone. Little party at my place.
Yeah.
Too bad, Tara. You're missing out. Well, we better get Tara back home before she misses her bedtime.
Yeah. To be honest, Chrissy, I probably would have stayed.
No, she wouldn't have. Did you see her face?
But it was getting dark, and I knew I'd never get away with coming home that late.
Hey, don't forget about that party next week.
That's right,
guys. All right, see you later. Bye, Mark.
Mark told me he didn't mind taking me home.
Go get some, boy.
Oh, Mark, you want to make your next left?
Wait, Tara, there's one more place you've got to see.
Mark, I've got to get home.
I'll get you home. Trust me.
Mark.
Man, listen to that sexy-ass 90s R&B. We know where this is going. Make out point.
This is your favorite spot?
Sometimes I just like to come here and think.
About what?
Like, how to tell your father you don't want to go to law school and work for the firm.
Isn't there good money in it?
I don't care about the money. I want to help people. Maybe teach or do volunteer work.
What a story, Mark.
Really?
Oh god, Mark just went from cool, suave, and sophisticated to sniveling 90s sitcom villain. Look at his face, he's so amused by his own lies. He actually thinks this is going to work.
Yeah.
Mark seemed to care about a lot of the things that were important to me. Before I knew it, we had been talking for over an hour.
I don't know.
Oh my god, it actually is kind of working. This could be grounds for a judicial committee if certain detectives were to find out about this little nighttime encounter.
You know... Oh, never mind.
No, what?
You're different from the other girls, aren't you?
Different? Is that supposed to be a compliment?
Yeah. I mean, I've never met anyone like you. I could tell from your poem.
So another common pattern in these propaganda films is that Jehovah's Witnesses are so different, and that's so attractive to worldly people because of the holy aura that they generate, I guess? I don't know.
Well, you know, I was really impressed with your poem, too.
Oh, well, thanks. But yours told me something.
Told you what?
That you've got a lot going on inside. I mean, Lori and the other girls are okay, but they're all so empty. You're different.
Chrissy, I can't believe how close I came to breaking Jehovah's laws that night.
What? This actually worked? I guess, whatever. Wait, how far did things go?
Things went way too far. And Mark wanted to go much farther.
I think they may be leaving what she did up to the imagination of the viewer. I'm sure that's on purpose.
But I couldn't. I kept thinking about how much it would hurt my parents. my friends, and especially Jehovah.
Another incomplete sentence. What Tara means is that she kept thinking about how much it would hurt her parents and her JW friends if they found out about her personal, private affairs, and they had to shun her for them.
Still, it wasn't easy. It took everything I had to stop and to get Mark to take me home.
Look at the way she walks out of the car, like she's just been through some traumatic experience. The film is almost giving off this tone that Tara was practically raped. I guess that would make sense in keeping with the whole Dinah theme that Detective Stacey Evans brought up earlier.
Tara?
Mark revealed a side of himself that I hadn't seen before.
I just don't get it.
I thought you were gonna put out. That was extremely uncool of you, Tara.
What is it with you?
Mark didn't care about me or my feelings. He wanted one thing. Later on, I learned I wasn't the first or the last to be taken to his favorite spot.
I gotta go.
I felt so stupid, so naive. It was wrong to be alone like that with any guy.
The lesson that Tara took from this was that this was her fault for being alone with a guy. I mean, Watchtower did warn her after all. Of course, we are supposed to completely ignore the fact that this cliched 90s sitcom villain is not a representation of the rest of the world's morality, similar to how previous villains in Watchtower propaganda films don't even come close to representing just the general population, the non-Jehovah's Witness population.
I let Mark know that I would never go out with him again.
Please, like he would have ever asked you out again, trying to save face, expecting us to buy that she dumped him. Okay, Tara, whatever you say.
That night, I told my parents everything.
Everything!
Any good, indoctrinated Jehovah's Witness will eventually buckle over the guilt of whatever Watchtower rule they've broken.
They were very upset.
Are you sure you told us everything? Nothing else happened?
I just gotta make sure. I will not allow any filthy whores to live under this roof. Do you understand me?
No, Dad, I told you.
You've been telling us a lot of things. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Honey, what were you thinking?
Probably the same thing anyone in that situation would have been thinking, but with lots of guilt to hold her back.
Don't you know what he wanted? I can't believe this.
It's not that hard to believe, Anonymous Jehovah's Witness Dad number 13. Come on.
After a while, things started to calm down, and they really listened.
Tara, it took a lot of courage to tell us all that. Sorry I got so angry.
Oh, it's just that for a second there I thought you had given in to your natural desires. I was getting ready to disown you, sweetie. Thank Jehovah it was a false alarm. I don't have to be disgusted by you after all.
Honey, we're just glad things didn't go any further than they did.
I know, but I still feel awful about what did happen.
This is actually an excellent demonstration of that perpetual guilt that is instilled in JWs. Even after everything is settled and it has been determined that no real sin was committed, Tara still feels guilty. This is not healthy for a person's mental well-being, ladies and gentlemen.
And so do we. We got so wrapped up in our new jobs, the house, that we didn't even see what you were going through.
This dad did not have the Watchtower film, These Words Must Be on Your Heart, to guide him, so it's understandable.
Honey, we're going to do everything that we can to help you get through this.
Right, it's not over, folks. They're treating this like it's a disease or something. I mean, I wish I could say it's melodramatic, but seriously, they're still going to take this to the elders because the elders must determine whether or not Tara should be punished for this. Again, this is how it is actually handled in real life. This is not the film taking liberties or exaggerating things. This is how things should be, assuming the congregation is following instructions properly.
It's been a long day. Let's get some rest and we can talk about this tomorrow.
My parents, and later the elders, were really there for me.
The
heart is more treacherous than anything else. I had heard that scripture 1,000 times before, but never gave it much thought. Now I couldn't stop thinking about it.
The heart is more treacherous than anything else. Watchtower uses that scripture to further infantilize Jehovah's Witnesses. It's probably their go-to scripture when trying to remind the sheep about who's calling the shots. You can't be trusted to make decisions. You have to rely on Jehovah, which this publishing company just so happens to have exclusive access to. Give us your money, just whatever you can spare. Give us your time, go out, volunteer, make some people join our publishing company.
I wanted to be liked and accepted so much that I was willing to hide who I really was. I had to start setting things straight.
It was so perfect. I mean, what was the problem? I know Mark practices safe sex.
Lori couldn't believe that I turned Mark down.
It's because...
Because of what?
Because of what I believe.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's my religious beliefs, Lori.
Look, Tara, I went through a lot of trouble to get you guys together. And now you've suddenly gotten
This girl
religious?
seems overly concerned with Tara's sex life. She almost seems offended at the fact that Tara rejected the guy that she chose for her. But that's worldly women for you, I guess. Always trying to hook good girls up with bad boys.
I haven't suddenly gotten religious. This is what I've always believed. I guess I just forgot who I really am and what I care about.
Don't you care about Mark?
I did, but I shouldn't have gotten involved with him. And I'm definitely not going to do something immoral with him.
Who said do something immoral? I have morals.
I'm not saying that you don't.
Then what are you saying?
That you don't have the exact same morals as I do. We are at an impasse. You are my enemy, and I must treat you as such. There can be no middle ground. You evil, me good.
That I don't believe in having sex before marriage. Look, Lori, I should have told you this before. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
You are?
Yes, and we take the Bible seriously. It says sex is for two people who are married.
It's being implied that without the Bible to restrain them, women will put out on the first date no problem. If your morals don't come from the Bible, you are automatically a slut. That's propaganda for you, folks.
You're kidding, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it didn't work out with you and Mark. But don't forget about the party Friday. Maybe you'll meet somebody else. Somebody who's more like you.
No, Lori, I don't think so. Not there.
Well, then just come and hang out with us girls.
Remember that thing I said earlier about there being no middle ground?
Thanks, but I just wouldn't be comfortable at the party.
Okay, so you don't want to date guys, and you don't want to go to parties. Don't you people have any kind of fun?
Of course we do. The Bible doesn't condemn fun. I would love to explain my beliefs.
In order for Tara to prove that Jehovah's Witnesses do have fun, she has to sit down and explain her beliefs.
Maybe then all this would make more sense to you.
I'm sorry, but if you have to sit down and explain your beliefs to someone just to prove that you are allowed to have fun, you're probably in a cult or a high control organization. Just food for thought.
I don't know, Tara, it's late. Maybe another time.
Ain't nobody got time for your BS, Tara. I got weed to smoke, books to read, and a consciousness to raise.
I think that Lori respected me for it, and it felt good to finally stand up for what I believed. I just wish that I had spoken up earlier. It would have saved me a lot of pain.
Tara, are you alright?
Detective Stacy Evans, come to rub it in.
Are you sure?
Of course she has to bask in her own self-righteous glory while acting all concerned for Tara. I'm sure there are those Jehovah's Witnesses that are sincere in showing interest in others, but sad to say, they are in the minority. I mean, what else can you expect from an organization that encourages its members to rat each other out? It breeds an environment of self-righteousness and hypocrisy, and lots of backstabbing. Watchtower agent Stacey Evans wasting no time in getting this girl back into serving Watchtower.
You know what? Tomorrow, you and me. Let's go out in service and do lunch or something. Does that sound good?
On this fine day, I will be reviewing a Watchtower classic propaganda film from their Young People Ask series. This one will be using the biblical story of Dinah, daughter of Jacob, who was raped by a Canaanite prince. We get a little introduction in which some of the cast from the movie is interviewed before the film begins, and we get such gems as...
I'm sure it would have been devastating, because he forced her to have sex. She got herself into this situation, and that she'd hurt not only her family, her father, her parents, but Jehovah too.
According to Jehovah's Witness doctrine, Dinah being raped was actually her fault. Somehow the rapist is excused, at least partially, and bears no real responsibility because she allowed it to happen. Classic victim blaming when it comes to rape. Think about the implications of this sort of reasoning. The way Jehovah's Witnesses view the crime of rape is, well, she was asking for it, so what can I say? Now, I ask you fine people, would that sort of excuse really work in a court of law? Is it reasonable that a rapist can at the very least be partially excused for his hideous crime by saying, well, this woman trusted me enough to be alone with me, can you blame me for raping her? No, that wouldn't fly. Let's see how Watchtower applies this reasoning to a modern day setting. She talks for a very long time, so here's some footage of me killing zombies and rescuing noobs online to help you stay awake.
Dear Chrissy, sorry it's taken me so long to answer your letters. It was pretty crazy around here for a while. Anyway, I want you to know that I'm okay. But Chrissy, something you said in your last letter worried me. You said that you thought the friends at the Kingdom Hall were boring, and that the kids at school were a lot more fun. If you knew what I've been through recently...
Oh, honey, watch out for your back.
Don't worry, I'll be okay.
Mom and Dad were so busy with our new home and their new jobs. I didn't want to burden them with how miserable I felt. I started writing poetry again. It seemed to take my mind off my loneliness. At the new congregation, Mom and Dad were eager to make new friends.
This is my wife, Julie.
Hi, I'm Ken.
Hey, you must be Tara.
Hi.
Hi, I just met your parents. They are so nice.
Thanks.
Well, anyway, my name is Stacy. You mind if I sit out?
There was this pioneer sister, Stacey Evans. She tried really hard to be nice.
Stacey Evans, Watchtower woman, regular pioneer, the organization's pit bull, Jehovah's Witness detective. She's never met a case she can't crack for Jehovah.
So, I hear you're from Lucinda Falls?
Lucinda Falls.
Oh, Lucinda Falls, sorry. Pretty small town, huh?
It's not that small.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, what the hell? I also hate it when people indirectly make fun of where you're from.